Story Western Mass News has been following closely voter fraud claims made against Springfield City Councilor Justin Hurst during his campaign for city mayor.
We learned the FBI met with the Springfield Elections Commissioner on the matter today, and Western Mass News reporter Olivia Hickey joins us live in studio after getting answers on the situation. Olivia?
Chris, Abby, Springfield City Solicitor John Payne confirmed the meeting today, but cannot share what the conversation was about.
The only thing I can tell you is that we're pleased that there is still some involvement by law enforcement into what we hope is an investigation of potential voter fraud.
You up to speed, Springfield elections workers in Lopez submitted sworn affidavits detailing what they saw during the final weekend of early in-person voting in the city. Statements included observations involving Justin Hurst for man campaign workers, including a man bringing in Spanish-speaking people to vote, telling them in Spanish, "Vote for Hurst and you get $10. Lopez described what she saw after reviewing surveillance footage, part of what you are seeing right now on your screen, recorded outside of City Hall, saying, "Many individuals who were dropped off in the black Suburban and black Expedition entered City Hall, voted, and left in the same aforementioned vehicles. 2 women and 1 man can be seen showing the man in the red, white, blue shirt something. The man then proceeds to take out what appears to be a large bundle of cash and peel off a bill and hands it off to each person." Western Mass News reached out to Hurst on Thursday. He tells us he continues to stand by his previous statements that the claims are false and his campaign did nothing wrong. We also reached out to the Secretary of the Commonwealth, the FBI, and the Hampden District Attorney's Office, and we have yet to hear back. Elections Commissioner Lopez directed all questions to the city's law office. We will continue to follow these developments. For now, reporting live, Olivia Hickey for Western Mass News.